Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this week from Rockdale. So apparently we've changed pages. We do not have a lot of our viewers coming in, so we may think about doing something different next week or this week. I may edit that here in a little bit, see what we can do with that. But I am going to talk to you about a couple of things. I do want to thank you all for joining the show tonight, and we are going to talk about a couple of things I told you we'd talk about. First of all, I want to start off by saying that I coached help coach the 6U Social Circle Redskins. We had another game yesterday, and we were able to defeat the Newton Rams by 32-12. It was a tough fought victory. We went at halftime 14-12. The little guys had never faced um, going in on first two games. We'd shut everybody to shut the other two opponents out. So our guys faced a little bit of adversity. The other team were not good sports. They were taught to play dirty, and our guys came back out the second half. We kicked it into gear, and we beat them 32-12, and we kept our integrity. We played the game right. We played the game tough, but we came through, and our 6U Social Circle Redskins are won 32-12. We are 3-0. I think we're a third place in our league right now. We have two other teams that are 3-0, and we have another game on Tuesday night. So next week I'll be able to tell you all about our fourth game, and hopefully I can come back and report that the Social Circle Redskins are 4-0 and heading to our playoff series here in November and be getting in the playoffs. So I just want to thank everybody who's joining us now. Look like we've got some people joining the stream. I'd like to welcome let's see, Lisa Lancaster, Charlotte Gellert, Tina Hobbs, Mary Bosworth, William Campbell, Ricky Strawn, David Mills. Guys, I'd like to welcome you to the show. I know a lot of people probably because we're not broadcasting on this week in Rockdale for the first time. So it'll take a little bit of time, I think, for people to get used to the this week from Rockdale. Yeah, we got room for one more, Laura Skelton. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining the chat here. So we appreciate that. We're going to talk about some interesting things tonight. I'm sure we'll have some people watch the rebroadcast of it once it's out on Facebook. But this past week, last week, I made some comments about the Board of Education and about the a group that I belong to, the Rockdale Voter Group, starting a petition to lower taxes on senior citizens 67 older. Well, the Rockdale Voter Group made that petition go live this week, and we did not expect the response that we got from that petition, but that petition just was off the chain. It was more than we expected. People were just those emails were flying in, and it's because the citizens of Rockdale County, they recognize they want a voice, they want to say something, and they want to make these things happen. So I'm going to circle back around in a little bit. We're going to talk about the petition. We're going to talk about what we're hoping to do with it. But what I want to do tonight is I want to talk a little bit about, because also this week the Digger School Report came out, and it came out with Rockdale County's rankings for this year, and I'm going to talk about that. And when I was harsh on the school board last week, I think these reports and the numbers that I'm going to tell you are going to justify my hard comments. Um, and I'm going to go back to 2013 all the way to 2021 and give you a little historical data on the performance of the Rockdale County school system in this report. And we're going to discuss it. I don't think a lot of people are going to like it. Uh, well, I mean, the citizens are not going to like it, and the Board of Education already. I mean, I've got pressure this week, folks. They do not like it when they're called out. I mean, the pressure had been on me to back off. Well, that dog don't hunt, and we're not backing off. It was more like they wanted to suppress our speech. They didn't like the petition, said it was we were told that we went about this a backwards way. And in my opinion, when the people speak and the people ask that something be done on their behalf, that's not a backwards way. That's sort of the frontwards way. I mean, uh, I'm gonna make some statements a little bit later, but we're gonna talk about some data here in a little bit. Let me welcome a few more people that have come to the show. Hey, Danny, thanks for coming on the show. It's going to be an education show tonight, so glad to have a somebody in the room that's an educator. Also, Tim McCart, glad to have you in the room. And William Campbell just says, and the tax bills came out this week, and that's true. The tax bills came out this week, and I don't think we could have had a better week for our petition to start rather than the week the tax bills came out. Well, let's go ahead and talk a little bit about the data of how Rockdale County squares up against the other school systems in the state of Georgia. Well, there are 193 school systems in the state of Georgia. And of 2021, in the Digger report, Rockdale County rates 157 out of 193. So if we go back to 2013, Rockdale County performed 67% better than the other school districts in Georgia. That means there were 33% of school districts who were not as performing as well as Georgia. I mean, as well as Rockdale County. In 2014, we did a little better. We did 68%, meaning that there were, only, there were 32% that were performing better than us. In 2015, Rockdale dropped a bit. We went to 59% of performing better than other school districts. That meant that 41% of school districts were performing better than us. Rockdale County in 2016, we notched up a point and we were at 60%, meaning only 40% were performing better than us. Then in 2017, some bad things started happening in Rockdale County. We dropped to performing 52% better, meaning 48% on the other side. So then in 2018, we started 44% better than others. And that means 46% were performing better than us. Then in 2019, we went to 41%. We were performing 41% better. That means 59% of school systems were performing better than us. In 2021, Rockdale County was only performing better than 18% of school systems. That means 82% of the school systems in Georgia were outperforming Rockdale County. So we had a drop of 23% between 2019 and 2021. We had a drop of 49% between 2013 and 2021. Anyone in the chat that can tell me that is acceptable, then, tell me how and why. The Rockdale County Board of Education apparently this week was not pleased that they were personally called out by this show last week on the dismal performance of Rockdale County schools. When we look at what we see in these numbers, that from 2013 to 2021 in an 8-year time span, that we have dropped 49%, that's unexcusable. And the fact that under this new superintendent, almost half of that loss comes within a 2-year time period under this new superintendent, Terry Oates. From 2019 to 2021, we've dropped 23%. So let me ask you, during that time period, Mr. Oates has got raises and Mr. Oates has got bonuses. The school system, when we look at our rating, doesn't reflect a system that should have given anyone a raise or a bonus. Yeah, and the school superintendent's raise and bonus were based on his contract and him meeting obligations. If part of his obligations were him being able to tie his shoes, if they were being able him to empty his wastebasket, if they were part of his was be able to drive the company vehicle and not get pulled over for DUI, if part of it was to, be able to get to work on time and not clock out early, then those may have been reasons to get some sort of raise. But if the contract or the merit would have been to have advancement in the scholastic improvement of our students, then no, that didn't happen. The school system plummeted. The results are in the scores. The students have dropped, and yet we have got a school superintendent that we've escalated to well over 200 and some, in the 200 and mid 200,000s. Do we think that the school system that we have, that we should be paying someone over 200 and some $1,000s a year and giving them bonuses? Does this performance of our educational system merit raises and bonuses of the school superintendent? I say no. And I ask you, the citizens, what do you think? Charlotte, the ratings are based upon the other school systems in the state, the other 193. We are rated 157th out of 193, and it'll be their testing. So, Rockdale County, and we'll hear the Board of Education tout that they are an award-winning Board of Education. Well, like most of these awards, just like the county commission, when they get all these awards, they belong to these organizations that they're dues-paying members to. And as long as you turn in the right documentation and you pay your dues, you give yourself awards. So we're an award-winning BOE of giving ourselves an award. If you look at the educational merits here, Rockdale County's Board of Education is not an award-winning anything. The way I perceive this, and others say, this is just not me. I talk to citizens every day. People call me, they talk to me. I meet people on the streets, they discuss things with me. And no one that I've spoken to yet believes that this Board of Education and this superintendent have done a good job leading this school system. And if they are upset that people think that, then you know what? Prove us wrong. Do something other than give us failing reports. Do something other than giving us a D- school system. Do something other than that. At one time you talk about people and they tell the story of moving to Rockdale County years ago. And the reason they moved to Rockdale County was because of the excellence in the school system. And they wanted their kids to come here and get this quality education. What do we do? I mean, how do we make these improvements? What's wrong with our educational system? Until I think our Board of Education starts representing the kids and the taxpayers, I don't think we'll know. Because right now it's very apparent that this Board of Education represents the school superintendent. Because if they represented the taxpayers and the school and the children, this superintendent wouldn't be employed any longer. If this was corporate America, and let's just be real, if this was corporate America and you had a board of a company and that company had performed like this in a 2 or 3 year time period, the CEO would be gone. There would be no question. The CEO would be gone, and upper and middle management, there would be turnover, because these results would not be accepted in corporate America. And as citizens, why should we accept these kind of results with our tax dollars? Now, let's talk about our tax dollars a minute. We pay the highest school millage rate in the state. We are one of the highest per student of educating a dollar in the state. When you look at the dollar that we spend per student, tax dollars, we are one of the smallest landmass counties in the state. We do have a dense population. Our population's there, but do we get the value of our tax dollars for the education that is returned? The answer is no. You can look at these reports. You can look at this Digger report, and you can see that, Rockdale County ranking 157th out of 193 is not acceptable. Rockdale County going from doing 41% better than other school districts in 2019 to doing only better than 18% of school districts in 2021 is not acceptable. And I know the excuse we're going to get for 21 scores. It's going to be COVID, but that's not an excuse. That's not a reason. It's an excuse because the other 192 school districts faced the exact same adversity that Rockdale County did. They also faced COVID. And a lot of the rural counties, they didn't have the hotspots, didn't have the internet. They didn't have some of the technologies that Rockdale County had. So we're looking, so I'm sure we're going to, one of the excuses is going to be COVID. Well, it's not an excuse because all 193 districts faced the same adversity. They all faced COVID. So if you all faced it at the same time and you handled it equally, then Rockdale should not have dropped. They should have been equal. But no. So apparently, the excuse they're going to use that it's COVID means that we were ill prepared and did a terrible job during the COVID epidemic of educating our kids and maintaining a quality education. I hate to even say that, maintain quality education. We apparently have not had a quality education in this county for a long time. And this is another thing. I talk to other business owners in this county, and we have the youth come in our office to fill out applications. One of the biggest problems that I find is they don't understand the application, and it's because they have very weak reading comprehension skills. If you can't comprehend what you read, then it's going to be very difficult to be able to do advanced math skill. You can't do advanced math because you have to be able to comprehend. And I actually also see this in the work environment that they don't comprehend things. So if you don't do a better job of teaching reading and comprehension, they might be able to say the words that are on that page, but they don't understand when you put a sentence together what the sentence is actually telling them. So I see that as one of the biggest problems we have is reading comprehension. So, just me as an outsider who's not in the educational field, but looking in, who actually I deal with the individuals who are being educated from the systems. And I see what their weaknesses are there, and their weaknesses are comprehension. They have a hard time with reading comprehension. So that just, something for you to think about. You guys probably already know that because you're educators and all of you have doctors at the end of your name and you're smarter than the rest of us. But you do have a D school system. So I don't know if you're smarter or not. Just saying, you got the right to my opinion. And it's like from this week, some of the things that I mentioned the school board out loud, that was offensive mentioning the school board out loud, that I called them out, the school board. So, I know they got their little rules that they have to stay knit and nobody can come out and talk negatively about anything that they're doing. I'm not part of the school board. And if I was, I wouldn't have signed any kind of document saying that I had to waive my First Amendment rights and not speak my mind. If I'm belonging to an organization and they're not doing right, then you got to call them out. You got to say, we're not doing right and we need to do better. So, I know people on the school board and they're good people. I'm not going to say they're bad people, but I think they're drawn into a bad system. I think this system at the school board is a bad system where we give full reign to the school superintendent, where, the school board has the authority to hire and fire the superintendent. They have the authority to approve the budgets. You have a lot of authority there. If the school superintendent is not doing their job, then you terminate them and you get someone in here who can. I felt all along when former Superintendent Autry was let go that we should have done a nationwide search and we should have hired someone who had experience in turning a school system around that was on a downward projectile. So no, but we go and hire someone who was never a school superintendent, who this was their first job as the superintendent. This wasn't time to experiment. This wasn't time to give somebody some OJT. This was time to hire an experienced individual to come in here and do that. one of the board members had actually told me, well, we couldn't afford to bring that kind of person in here. They can afford to do everything else, right? They can afford to bring in, pay this guy close to $250,000. And, I'm sure we can pay someone 250, $300,000. I wouldn't mind paying somebody $350,000 if they were the right person and they could come in here and turn the school system around. It would be worth every dime to bring the right person in here to be able to turn this school system around. It would be worth that money to each and every one of us. What does Bill Campbell say? Bill Campbell says, okay, I'm going to put this up. They also receive 10 to 15 million a year in SPLOST funding that is unsupervised. And that is true because they have an e-SPLOST, and the e-SPLOST collects a penny just beside our SPLOST that the county uses for infrastructure. So, but the difference is our county has a citizens oversight committee. The Board of Education has no oversight committee. Well, they oversee themselves. So they have a bunch of bureaucrats who already work for the county, the Board of Education, who oversee themselves. What I think is going on here, guys, is I was also informed that I unfairly awakened a sleeping giant. I didn't awaken anybody. First of all, this petition came out from a group that I belong to called the Rockdale Voter Group, which has Republicans, Democrats, and independents that belong to this group. Uh, I've got some strong Democrats who belong to this group who didn't want to be identified bringing this petition out because they were afraid they were going to people would come down on them for doing it. And they were exactly right because I got come down. Some people came down on me because of this, and they called me out that I was the instigator and tooting my own horn. That didn't happen, guys. This was a joint effort by the Rockdale Voter Group, who members are Republicans, Democrats, and independents. And we only work on issues that are nonpartisan and affect everybody. So, and I'm the first to say, I'm a Republican, chairman of the Republican Party. I work on Republican-oriented issues. But also, I'm a citizen of Rockdale County. And I believe that there are issues that cross party lines. Education is one of those issues. Education is a nonpartisan issue. Education is an issue that everybody needs to be concerned about. Even if you don't have kids in school, if we don't have children that are educated that can lead this country forward, that can lead the state forward, that can lead this county forward, that can lead our municipalities forward, then we are in trouble as a nation in whole. We can't just stand by and allow our school system to we can't go much further down. Let's be honest. We're about at the bottom of the cellar right now, guys. It would be very difficult to take more of a downward trajectory path. We've already dropped, like I told you, 23% in the last 2 years. We've dropped 49% in the last 8 years. There's really nowhere to go but up. Let's just say we increase 3 or 4% the next year. That's no gain. It's really no gain. We need to make significant gains over the next 5 to 6 years to show that we've done something. I don't think that Terry Oates needs another 3 years as our school superintendent, seeing that he has been able to plummet this school system at least half that percent that we have in the last 8 years, and he's done it in 3 years. We don't need that anymore. And the school board's going to be upset at me. The superintendent's going to be thinking I'm unfair. Well, do we think it's unfair that we pay this outrageous taxes that we pay, that their budget is overkill, and the return that we get from that money? Shouldn't we have the right to be outraged at this? Shouldn't we have the right to speak up and start a petition that say senior citizens need tax relief from this out of control school system, which spends money like it's going out of style, but does not perform and bring results back to the table? And that's the truth. The numbers here do not lie. The Rockdale County school system is in a free fall. it is spiraling down. It is spiraling out of control. And what do we do? Uh, the citizens demand tax relief. Oh, you can't do that. You're going about this the wrong way. That's not the right way to do it. It's not the right way for seniors, and to be said that you've awakened a sleeping giant in seniors. And I can understand that. I mean, if you listeners know too, seniors vote. They are a very strong voting bloc. So if seniors are upset about the school system, they're upset about paying taxes, they don't have kids in school. A lot of them don't even have grandkids in school anymore. I mean, that's they're older, and that's that's they're past that. The seniors, they need a break from it. They need a break from paying school taxes. Firmly believe it. I know, when I'm 57 years old now. When I get 67 years old, I'd like to have a break from it. I don't mind paying it now. I had kids in school. I've got grandkids in school, but at some point, enough's enough. Need a little break for the end of your days, so that you can live on your fixed income and not worry about having to be booted out of your house, because that could definitely happen in a county like Rockdale, where the Board of Commission is out of control, the Board of Education is out of control, and they just look at what they can do to grab and tax, grab and tax, grab and tax. And it's no concern of what it does to the citizens. Well, we've got to provide these services. Well, if you don't have people who can live in these homes, who are you going to provide services to? And we keep hearing about this fantastic growth that's going to happen to Rockdale County. I don't think that growth is going to happen to Rockdale County with this educational system. Do you think any young people who have got kids who would actually, and that's how you grow a community? Do you think when they look at these reports and they see how Rockdale County is performing, do you think they're gonna jump up and down and stand on their head and say, "All right, that Rockdale County is the place to go educate my kid"? Only 82% of the school systems do better than them. I don't think we can do much better. That's not going to be said. It's going to be, well, like the community, okay, but I don't know about that school system. I don't think, and the taxes there are really high, and the crime there is iffy. So, let's pass on Rockdale and look at something better. That's what you're going to get, folks. That's what you're going to get here in Rockdale County. You're gonna get that. Let's bypass Rockdale County. Let's not go to Rockdale County. Uh, the school board. Somebody asked me. Mary wants to know, how's the school board. Let's put our comment up there for a second. How is the school board not embarrassed by this rating? I would be if we were in their shoes, but then I wouldn't have let it get to this bad in the first place. Mary, that's the thing. This week, they were offended because they were called out, because they're an award-winning school system. They're award-winning of dropping 23% in the last 2 years, and they're award-winning of dropping 49% in the last 8 years. That's something to be a proud. That's your award-winning school system. Like, again, if they got an award for being able to tie their shoes and empty their trash and not be driving their vehicles DUI, that's good way to get good way to get an award, I guess. But about it, that's not it's not advancing an educational system. It's not advancing children, not advancing this community. Don't know how you get these awards when, if you got an award and your school system is doing this bad, I wouldn't promote getting an award. That's just me. I would not promote getting an award when your performance is this dismal. Would not perform it. And like I said, it's all going to be, this last 2 years is all going to be, well, the COVID is the excuse that doesn't go away. COVID's bad. People die. I've known people personally who have passed away from COVID. I've known people who have struggled with it and are still struggling with it. And this is something that we've struggled with as a nation. But it's also something that we can come together and improve. Just in my business alone, the best 2 years fiscally we've done in the last 2 years have been under the COVID, because it forced us to tighten the belt. It forced us to be creative. It forced us to appreciate a labor force, and appreciated us to really recruit good sound people and keep them employed. So I don't want to hear it. because there are companies and there are places who have succeeded during COVID because they thought outside the box and they did things and they did what was necessary to survive. The Rockdale County school system, if COVID is your excuse, then it's not the excuse. And I'm going to be honest with you. I don't think you're going to be able to come back with a good excuse. I think you've dropped the ball. I think you hired the wrong person a few years ago to put in that number one spot. But you can correct that. These things are hard to do. You know what? I don't think Terry Oates is a bad guy, but he just might not be good at being the school superintendent. He might not be creative, might not have the right ideas for the problems that are facing this county. He might be the right person for somewhere else, but the numbers show that he's not the right person for Rockdale County right now. That's what the numbers show. The numbers show we need to go in a different direction. The numbers show that Rockdale County is at a pivotal point that we've got to turn this around. Because we keep wanting to say that we're in a right position to grow. If our educational system does not pull out of this nosedive, Rockdale County is not in a position to grow. We are in a position to decline. And those are the facts, folks. When people look at places to move, they look at taxes, they look at housing, and they look at education. Rockdale County is, hey, baby, we might be sinking on all of that. So we've got to really reevaluate what we offer and what we do. So I mean, I think that we look at Rockdale County and what do we want Rockdale County to look like moving forward. I'm going to talk to you guys right now candidly about something. Just because somebody's been a member of the Board of Education for 20 years doesn't mean they need to keep being a member of the Board of Education for another 4 years or another whatever. I think it's very clear that the members of this board do not need to be members of this board any longer. We have elections next year and we have a couple people up. I like people that are on the board, but they've got to come and tell us what they're going to do differently and why we should reelect them. If part of the thing is we're going to support Terry Oates, he's on the right path, we need to give him more time, then we don't need to elect that person. The person needs to be point blank asked, do you support keeping Terry Oates as school superintendent? If their answer is yes, they don't need to be reelected. We need to ask him, are you satisfied with some of the things that we do in Rockdale County? Like I know from what I've told the school board members, have to jump through hoops and get permission to visit schools. I don't think school board members should have that. I remember when I was going to school, we would have visits from our school board members. Nobody would tell them. They would be just visits. They'd come through, do walkthroughs, and it would be that day. Our administrators didn't mind that. They were ready. We ran our schools. They ran their school system the same day that day as they did any other day. So, they were professional and they were prepared. I'm not asking anything else. Run your business every day as if somebody important was going to come look at it. Run your school system as if somebody from the outside might come in and see what it looks like. Because don't shine and polish it just when the press is coming there. Don't shine and polish it just when somebody of status is coming there. It needs to look shine and polished every single day of the week. Not just because you want to look good for when a dignitary is there. The school needs to look that way every single day. It needs to be in line, in order, and the same thing every day. If in my opinion, if we don't want school board members visiting, and whatever lame excuse they come up with, it's a lame excuse. The excuse is we don't want to see the dismal performance that's going on in the schools. So come on, I'm getting harsh on everybody. I might have to. So not only might we have to turn over the school superintendent, but we might have to turn over some principals. We might have to turn over some people up there in the board office and actually downsize. We need to look and do we have too many people at the top, not enough people in the field educating children? That's what we need to look at. And everybody defends all these when you have to have all these department heads and this and that and whatever. Not a big fan of too many department heads. I mean, I work for a pretty good sized company and I probably do 5 or 6 jobs that I could probably hire 2 or 3 other people to do some of them. But you know what? I'd rather spend that money to have people in the field, to have more field supervision. So I take the blunt of that. So I have the budget to be able to do that, and that's what we may have to do. We pay people well enough that I think some of the people in the top office can double up a little bit, do a little more. Just my family, just my, not getting the dollar value for what we're spending right now. So let's make some people earn some money. You're not earning. Nobody in the school system's earning their money. I'm not going to get some people mad because I'm dogging teachers or whatever. But guys, let's be honest. Teachers aren't doing a good job either. And I don't even want to hear this junk about blaming parents because you have them that many hours in the classroom. My mother, my father. My father had a third grade education. My mother, 10th grade. They really weren't able to help me a lot with things that I came home with school and stuff. So it was up to me to make sure I paid attention in school. Teachers taught, and I think parents do the best they can with what they're doing because they have jobs and they have to earn money. So teachers, you need to do your jobs too, and you need to take some of the responsibility for this doing 82% worse. You need to take some of the responsibility. Don't cast it all off on administration. Don't cast it all off on the board because you also are part of the problem. And that, dude, that's me saying that right now. I'm ticking off a lot of people, but these are things that need to be said. Everybody in the system is responsible when you've got a system that have plummeted and declined like this. It's not just one person, it's everyone. But in a system like this, the heads get chopped at the top. And that's where they need to go. Because the top will lead and they will show direction. They will help pick up enthusiasm and momentum and encourage. So apparently the staff is not being encouraged. Teachers are not being encouraged. The Board of Education could actually take a great role in this by leading from example. You need to represent the citizens of Rockdale County and the students of Rockdale County and quit representing the school superintendent. Quit carrying the school superintendent's water. Take up for the citizens of Rockdale County and really do it for the kids of Rockdale County. If we overtax the citizens and overburden them, and seniors lose homes, and kids don't get a quality education, then all we've done is harmed everyone and helped no one. And that's what we have going on right now in Rockdale County. The Board of Education, hello? I dropped my internet. Hey, I'm back. We dropped the feed there for a minute, but like I was saying, we're not helping anyone the way things are going right now. I encourage the citizens of Rockdale County sign the petition from the Rockdale voter group. It sends a message to the Board of Education. You're not how your tax dollars are being spent. Sign the petition from the Rockdale voter group because you care about senior citizens. You don't want senior citizens to lose their homes from some of the highest taxes in the state of Georgia. Sign that petition because it's the right thing to do to help your fellow citizen. And when election time comes, quit electing the same people. When it's election time, let's do the right thing. Change up that school board. We've had new people elected to the school board in 16 and in 18. And if we look, guys, that's when we've had the worst performance in the history of Rockdale County schools. So so we need to look at electing different people. We need to look at putting different people in office and representing you from that school board. We thank the people for their service, but you were not the right people. Sometimes just because you run for office and you get elected, you're not good at your job. I've had people that I like that have worked for me that I've had to terminate. And it's not that I didn't like them, they just were not good at their job. Bill Campbell says they need to reduce taxes for everyone. And I agree with that, Bill. I think they do need to reduce taxes for everyone. But I think we can start with our most vulnerable. I think we can start by reducing taxes on our most vulnerable citizens, our senior citizens, because they've got hard choices to make. Senior citizens have to decide between, a lot of times, medicine and food and shelter. And, do I pay my taxes or do I make sure I have food and to make sure I have medication? I mean, these are real choices. This is not make believe, folks. So when we hear this stuff that you've awakened an angry giant, there has been no angry giant awakened. There has been awareness brought to the citizens of Rockdale County. Senior citizens have become aware that they have a voice. The petition comes out the same week as property tax bills come out. I think the property tax bills, that was the thing that awakened seniors and awakened taxpayers in Rockdale County. When they got those tax bills and the seniors saw how what they were facing this coming year. And you look at that tax bill, and then you've got the stormwater added onto it. The county, we'll add that because you don't pay it, they'll think we can put a lien on your house. Well, they can't put a lien on your house, but they'll make you think they can because it's on your tax bill. Don't pay your taxes, we can, sell your house on the courthouse steps. Senior citizens need to be taken care of. They help build this country. They help build this nation. They've helped build this world. And it's time they get a break. So that's why I believe senior citizens need to be exempted, 67 years and older, need to be exempted from school M&O taxes in Rockdale County. I will fight for this, as well as the other members of the Rockdale Voter Group, which is a nonpartisan group that is made up of Democrat, Republican, and independent voters. And it is not Larry Cox tooting his horn. Some people are just afraid to have their voice heard because they're afraid of what has exactly happened to me this past week, of being attacked, of being ridiculed because I dared mention the Board of Education. I dare mention that group of award winners. I would give that award back. If I got that award and how these guys performed, you need to give that award back. Give your award back. Come on. You don't deserve an award. You don't deserve an award till our school kids can actually come to my office and other offices in this county and be able to fill an application out without having to ask questions on what should be simple directions. You don't deserve an award. It's not even a real award. You shouldn't even accept your fake award because it's a fake award. This is an award. You get an award of excellence. There's nothing excellent about this school board. There's nothing excellent, unfortunately, about the school system. We got great kids in Rockdale County. We got great kids. They're just not being served by us. We've got great kids in Rockdale County. We're letting them down. We got great senior citizens in Rockdale County. We're abusing them by overtaxing them. Rockdale County can be great. And we will be great when we change leadership. We'll be great when we take control of our money and our elections. We'll be great again when we tell people just because you've been a member of the school board doesn't mean you need to continue being a member of the school board. Rockdale County, it's up to you. Citizens, it's up to you. If you want to continue down the path we are in, then listen to those that are in office and don't let your voice be heard. Don't tell your board of education that you're tired of being overtaxed. Don't sign the petition if you want to be overtaxed. Well, let me tell you, I signed the petition. My family has signed the petition. And not only that, hundreds of Rockdale County residents so far have signed that petition. In the next few weeks, the Rockdale Voter Group will initiate a weekend of a weekend drive for the petition. We will be asking for volunteers to go out on a Saturday in the next in a few weeks, and it'll be coming up, and we'll put it out on this show, and we'll put it out in different media sources. But we will be asking you, the citizens of Rockdale County, to help take your county back one piece at a time. And that first piece, we'll be asking you to go out and get these petitions signed. Because, there was a statement made the other day, we could get 1 million signatures and the legislature might not do anything. I think if we got 6,000 signatures and those 6,000 voters decided might not vote for legislators who won't do what we ask, because let's just be honest. It's not overstepping our bounds when we do a petition and we ask our legislators to do something for us. Legislators work for us. Last time I looked, this is a representative government, and our legislators work for us. We do not work for them. They should be calling us sir. They should be calling us ma'am. What can we do for you? We shouldn't be putting our elected officials on high horses. They fell off those horses a long time ago. They're Humpty Dumpty. They were Humpty Dumpty sitting on the wall. What we need to do, people, is we need to do this petition. We need to get 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10,000 signatures. We, as the citizens of Rockdale County, need to send a message. We are tired of being ignored. And if we ask you something, don't say we're out of order. The citizens can never be out of order when we voice our opinion. When the citizens of any county, any state, when they voice their opinion to their elected officials, this is what we would like you to do for us. You have not stepped out of order. You are in the right order. The right order is for citizens to approach their legislators and ask them to do things for them. And the legislator's job should be, yes, sir, Mr. Citizen or Miss Citizen. It's a privilege, since you elected me to the office, to represent you. Actually do what you said to do and represent you. Not say you're out of order and you don't awake a sleeping giant. The sleeping giant is you, the elector. It's you, the electorate, because you're the individuals that need to be aware. Awareness comes from us. And that's what elected officials are terrified of. Elected officials are terrified that you will become aware. They are terrified that you will actually begin to care what happens. They're actually terrified that you will decide to make a difference and vote in a different direction and not vote for incumbents. I was out at a voting place a few years ago, and I heard one of the incumbents go and tell a voter, well, whoever you vote for, you go vote for the person that's got an I beside their name, because they're the person that's there. They're the incumbent. Always vote for the incumbent. That's the mentality we've got to break. We have some good incumbents. Don't get me wrong. Sometimes there's incumbents and they work for you and they're true servants of the people. A lot of times, just because you got the I behind your name and you're the incumbent doesn't mean that you need to be going back. Sometimes you serve 2 years and we know, oh, we made a mistake. This person has no business being in that office. I think we need to send a message loud and clear in these next couple of election cycles, especially at the Board of Education level. We want true change. We want our senior citizens represented. We want all taxpayers represented. And we want the kids represented. And we want you to quit representing the school superintendent, because that's what you do. Because if this school superintendent, with the performance that we've seen this school system achieve in the last 2 years, merits raises and bonuses, then it's very apparent where this school board system's loyalty and allegiance lies. It doesn't align with you, the citizens of Rockdale County, nor the students which this board has pledged to serve. I ask you at this time, stand, be proud, sign the petition, and let's make a difference. Thank you till next week. I will see you then. Good night.